Imagine this, a young woman found dying on the side of a highway. She's only 20, but her life holds more secrets than you could possibly imagine. A past so dark, it would take nearly 30 years to bring it into the light.
So who was she? Well, our story kicks off in 1990 in Oklahoma City. The woman's name was Tanya Hughes, and when she died under really, really suspicious circumstances, it just ripped open this incredible rabbit hole of stolen identities, unimaginable abuse, and a mystery that would haunt investigators for decades.
See, on paper, her death was ruled a hit and run, a tragic accident, but that story never quite sat right with her friends or even with some of the investigators on the case. They suspected something much, much darker was going on, and they were all pointing their fingers at the one person closest to her, the man who claimed to be her husband.
Okay, we are about to untangle this incredible web of lies and stolen lives. It's a wild ride, but before we dive in, if you find these kinds of explainers valuable, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you won't miss what we uncover next. So, to really understand how she died, we have to go back. We have to start peeling back the layers of who she was. Because Tanya Hughes, that was just a name. It was one of many. And the real person, the one buried underneath all those lies, well, she was someone the world had lost a long, long time ago. You see, before she was Tanya, for her entire teenage life, everyone knew her as Sharon Marshall. And as Sharon, she was on a path to a future that looked, well, it looked absolutely brilliant. And when I say brilliant, I mean staggering potential. Sharon wasn't just a good student, she was exceptional. At Forest Park High School, she rose to become a lieutenant colonel in the ROTC program. I mean, a real leader, admired by her peers, her teachers, everyone. And she had this incredible dream. She wanted to be an aerospace engineer. She had her sights set on NASA. And you know what? This wasn't just some fantasy. She had the brains, she had the drive, she made it happen. She earned a full-ride scholarship to study aerospace engineering at the Georgia Institute of Technology. A huge deal. This was it. This was her ticket out, her chance to finally have a real life of her own. And right here, this is where the story becomes so incredibly heartbreaking. Because on one side, you have the life she earned, a full scholarship, Georgia Tech, maybe even NASA, a future filled with achievement. But her reality, it was a nightmare. That scholarship was torn away from her by the man who was posing as her father. Her dreams were completely replaced by a life of exploitation and abuse, forced into sex work to support the very person who was destroying her. So you have to ask, right? Why? Why was this her reality? Why was she so trapped? The answer is, her entire life, everything she thought she knew as Sharon Marshall, it was all a lie. It was built on top of a crime, an original sin that happened when she was just a little girl. And this was the question that haunted investigators for decades. If she wasn't Tanya Hughes, and if she wasn't really Sharon Marshall, then who on earth was she? Who was this brilliant young woman who basically just appeared out of nowhere? Well, after more than 20 long years, they finally had their answer. Her real name was Suzanne Marie Sevakis, born September 9, 1969, the oldest of 4 kids. And her entire identity, her family, her name, all of it was stolen from her when she was just 5 years old. So how did this happen? The crime itself was just so cold and calculated. Back in 1975, Suzanne's mom, Sandy Chipman, got a short jail sentence, just 30 days for writing some bad checks. While she was serving that time, her new husband, this guy Franklin Floyd, he saw his chance. He took all 4 of her kids and just disappeared. When Sandy was released, she came back to an empty house. Her husband, her children, all gone. Her life was just shattered in an instant. And the horror of this story, it doesn't even end with Suzanne. The tragedy just echoes into the next generation, affecting the one person she loved more than anything else in the entire world, her little boy. Okay, so in 1988, Suzanne, who was still living as Sharon, gave birth to her son, Michael. And he became her whole world, her anchor, her reason for living. Her friends said that everything she did revolved around that little boy. He was the one who finally gave her the courage to start planning a way out, to secretly plot an escape from Floyd so she could build a safe life just for the 2 of them. But she never got that chance. After Suzanne died, Floyd's twisted obsession just shifted right onto Michael. The little boy was put into foster care,
And that's when Floyd did something truly monstrous. In 1994, he walked straight into Michael's first-grade classroom, pulled a gun, and kidnapped the 6-year-old boy right in front of his teacher and all his little friends. Michael was never seen alive again.
For 20 years, nobody knew what happened to Michael. It was a complete mystery. Then, in 2014, Franklin Floyd, sitting on death row, finally confessed. He admitted that he murdered Michael the very same day he took him. And his reason? The absolute chilling reason he gave. In his own words, Michael was a problem.
So now, with both Suzanne and Michael gone, there was one final question that still haunted the investigators. Could they finally give this woman her name back? Could they uncover the truth of who she really truly was and give her that one last piece of dignity? I mean, for more than 2 decades, her identity was a total ghost. There was no birth certificate, no records, no photos, nothing. But the FBI, dedicated journalists, they just refused to let it go. And then, in 2014, science finally gave them the breakthrough they needed. Forensic genealogy and a DNA test finally cracked the case wide open. And the world finally learned her name, Suzanne Marie Sevakis.
The facts of this case are they're completely staggering. And when I look at everything that happened, there are a few things about Suzanne's story that I can't shake.
For me, the biggest tragedy is just the sheer amount of stolen potential. This was a brilliant young woman who could have literally been a rocket scientist. Her story is also such a powerful, terrifying reminder of how abuse can hide in plain sight. But it also shows that even when an absolute monster tries to erase someone from existence, the truth can still fight its way back. Her memory isn't just some crime statistic. It's a testament to the daughter, the sister, and the loving mother that she was.
You know, this case is just packed with so many shocking turns and heartbreaking moments, so I'd really like to hear from you. What part of Suzanne's story just stands out the most to you? Drop a comment below and let me know. And of course, if this explainer meant something to you, please take a second to give it a like.
I really want to leave you with this one thought. Franklin Floyd stole her life. He stole Michael's life. But by finally uncovering the truth, by telling her story, we make sure that her memory can never be stolen too.
Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for subscribing. We'll be back really soon with another deep dive into another compelling case. I'll see you then.